Now, Netflix says it stopped losing customers due to competition and pressures from the rising cost of living. The streamer gained 2.4 million subscribers worldwide between July and September. Well, let's talk this through with Wade Payson-Denny, who is from Parrot Analytics, with his take on Netflix. So this is good news for Netflix because, of course, we were a little bit disappointed last time they came out with their earnings with a drop in subscriber numbers. So talk us through how they've turned things around.
Yeah, sure. No, this is a huge turnaround, and especially not only the size of the beat, 1.4 million ahead of where they expected things to be, but if you look at the United States and Canada, as well as Europe, Middle East, and Africa, those are the two most valuable regions as far as the global entertainment business is concerned. There was a combined basically 2.7 million subscribers swing from negative to positive in those regions combined. How did they do it? I would say in two words: Stranger Things. That was we measured that as the highest demand for a streaming original of all time, basically, for Stranger Things globally in the US and the UK, everywhere. And we have found that demand for original content is a key leading indicator of subscriber growth. Obviously, there's other content there. The Gray Man, the Ryan Murphy Dahmer show at the end of the quarter certainly helped. But yeah, as I was putting together our pre-Netflix earnings note, we showed that there was actually an uptick in market share for original content in the United States for Netflix. We haven't seen that in about 2 years. So yeah, that was a big surprise to see that, and to see the subscribers follow that uptick in demand share is great news for the streamer.
Okay, now one of the debates going on at the moment is the way these different streaming platforms provide content. So, for example, with Netflix, you can just binge a whole series on a weekend, whereas Apple Plus and others are kind of drip feeding with programs, aren't they? Sort of, you've got to wait a week before you see the next one. What is the right strategy when it comes to our behaviour? What do you think if Netflix is going to keep the customers?
I think the binge model works for Netflix specifically. They invented it. Their customers are used to being able to binge as much, to binge a show other than some of their reality programming, basically whenever it comes out. I think at the same time, like, the weekly release certainly works for the others. The weekly release, if you look at some of the benefits of that, are of course spreading out the show over 2 to 3, maybe even 4 months, meaning that people need to subscribe each of those months to keep watching the show. So that helps. If you look at actual demand for content that's binge released versus weekly, for the binge release shows, you see like a huge uptick right at the first weekend or so, usually trails off. But then for the weekly shows, that's a better way to kind of like build buzz, build audience over the course of a cycle. And we're seeing that, for example, with House of the Dragon on HBO Max, that's kind of growing a bit week over week.
Okay, Wade Payson-Denny, Thank you. Interesting to get your take on that. And
thanks.
So is Netflix really running up that hill when it comes to the competition? We'll be talking some more about its latest earnings in our business coverage, but now it's